Hi everybody, Rex here, and this is video number 4 in the series of drawing Robert Downey Jr. And in this one, what I'm going to focus on is the shading of the face. Now, as you can see here, I've already started, but what I'm going to do is focus now around the forehead area, and I want you to come along and see how I do it. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Okay, now I'm going to start off with a 2H pencil here to work on the base, and that is the lightest pencil I'm going to use for my base. And you'll notice here I'm indicating the area that is the dark shaded area that I'm going to start laying the 2H pencil down on first. And I like to do this more often than not, is to start with the 2H pencil and then build up from there until I reach somewhere near the tonal value that I'm aiming for. Now you can see that I've already started on the left side of the face, around the eye area and the right cheek there, and so now I'm just going to complete that side of the face, which is the darkest skin tone that you can see on the reference photo over on the right here. And I'm going to speed this part up because it's just pretty much going to be the same-o, and that is holding the pencil at the end, lightly applying the graphite, do not press on the paper, and I'm moving around in small oval shapes just to get it to cover. It gives me more control. I prefer this over tapered strokes myself, and it allows me not to get areas too dark, too light, but a nice even shade. And so here I'm going to go ahead and time lapse until I finish using the 2H. Now that I have my base of 2H, I'm going to go and get a earbud, also known as a Q-tip. You can use any blender you like. I happen to like to use these. And I want to smooth out now the 2H, fill in all the little pores of the paper, and make it a nice, smooth, even tone. My 2H tone. And so I'm going to put this now in time lapse to complete this phase. Now that I've laid down the 2H and blended, I'm going to go to a higher grade, this time the B pencil, and I'm going to go over the 2H with the B, darkening this area. Same technique, small ovals, hold the pencil as far back as you comfortably can so that you don't press into the paper. Let the pencil glide, apply the graphite evenly, And the nice thing about these little ovals that I'm drawing here is it tends to give the skin texture, which I like. So even though we blend it out smooth, if you look really close, you'll notice that it's not just one flat tone, but it does have some minor variations within, and I really like that because it gives it a little more realistic skin tone. I'm going to go ahead and speed this part up and complete adding the B grade pencil. Another important tip is that to rotate your pencil as you're drawing these little ovals, and it keeps the pencil sharp for a longer period of time. As you notice that my pencil is still very pointed, very sharp, because I am turning the pencil as I'm working, and this is keeping the tip from going flat or blunt, and by holding it at the sharp angle that I am right here, which really close to the paper, very low, it's like 5-10 degrees off the paper, that I'm allowed to keep this pencil sharp longer, and I don't have to keep sharpening it. Okay, now that I have my B layer down, it's time to do the blending once again. And so you just very carefully, don't press down, just softly glide your blender across and smooth it all in. Okay, now I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'm going to check out my little handmade tone chart. I did this in a different video, and I want to get an idea of how dark I'm going to want to get that side of the face, what pencil I'm going to use, and I also have a tonal value card that I can use as well. And a little bit later I'm going to do a demonstration with these tonal cards, these tonal value cards, that I think you're going to find very interesting. I've determined I can go much darker, so now I'm going to go up to a 4B. That's a little bit of a jump from a B, and I can actually go darker than a 4B, but I think I'm going to go just up to a 4B for now, and later I will show you that I can actually go darker, even though as you're looking at this right now, you're looking at the left, my drawing, and you're looking at the right, the reference, and I bet you're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, the drawing already looks darker on the left side than the reference photo. Trust me when I tell you that the drawing is actually lighter than the reference photo. I will demonstrate this shortly in this video, and also in another video I will continue to talk about tonal values. But for right now I'm going to go ahead and lay down this 4B, and then I'm going to blend it in as well. So I'm going to go right into time-lapse. Okay, for now that's as dark as I'm going to take it, but I can go even darker to match the reference photo. Now I'm going to work on the base tone for the rest of the forehead, and again I'm starting with the 2H pencil. So nothing different here, the same technique and method as I've already mentioned since the beginning of this video, so that you don't get bored of just watching me shading here, doing the same O. Again, I'm going to go ahead and put it into time-lapse. Now, what I would like to do here before I continue on is I want to show you these two side by side, and I want to kind of demonstrate something here that may not be obvious right off the bat. Now, as you know, this is my reference, and I'm currently working on the forehead, and you can see I started on the dark area first and layered on darker and darker pencils until I got somewhere around the area that I wanted to be. And then I started with a 2H over here, which is the lightest pencil I'm starting with, and then I will start to layer one or two more grades on top of here so that I will get that shade difference from here to here that is equivalent to what I see here and here. Now, by looking at these two side by side, which would you say is darker? Would you say this one is darker than this? Or that this is darker than this? Now, I would imagine that you would immediately say this is darker than this, and that I've gone too far. But in actuality, I'm going to show you that this is lighter than this. And here's how I'm going to demonstrate that. Now, here I have what's called the Grayscale and Value Finder. And this gives you kind of the grayscale that you're going to work with your pencils, from white all the way to black. Now, I've also added this background sheet of paper here. You can see I cut it out. And the reason I did this is because I have troubles often with my own eyes playing tricks with all the surrounding shades that you see on whatever it is you're testing. And so just using the card and I put it there, I still have a rough time. So what I did is I wanted to blot out everything that is around what I'm testing here. Now, if I come in here, for example, and everything needs to be under the same lighting conditions, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this out of the way for now. And we're going to use the screen is this wide right here for the camera. So we're right in the middle, so the lighting in this area will be the same that I'm going to use when I put this right here. Okay, I'm going to put it in the same spot, and then we're going to look at which one is actually darker than the other. Now, using this, okay, you can start, for example, you can see I got it right here, and you can immediately tell that that is darker than that shade. So then I'm going to move down to here. Okay, and so now we can see that that is getting very close. If I move over to here, okay, this is now darker than this. And the way you can tell is you just have to, or excuse me, this is lighter than this, sorry. And the way you can tell is you squint your eyes, you can squint your eyes, and then you can see that this has got a darker shade, and then this, you're not looking for color, you're looking for shade, value, okay? And when I squint my eyes, I can see that this is darker than this. So I go back to here, and I squint my eyes, and I see that it's very close to this value right here. And that's value 6. It says right there, value 6. Now, remember that, value 6. Now I'm going to go and put this right over it. And it looks like it's lighter, doesn't it? This looks lighter than this. Now I'm going to put this right in the same location. Tape it up here, and now we're going to do this test again, and we'll come down here to value 7. The number goes up as it gets brighter, by the way, so 7 is lighter than 6. You can tell that the drawing is definitely darker than here, so we move it to value 6, which was the other one, right? And if you'll notice, the drawing is much darker than value 6. So we're going to go to value 5, and we can see that this is more around the shade of value 5. It's very, very close. It may be the drawing's a little bit darker, so I'll go to value 4. And value 4 is darker just a little bit over the drawing, so it's, I'm going to call it value 5 here. Okay, so this matched more closely to value 5, whereas the drawing matched closer to value 6, which is lighter. Okay, if I go over to value 5, which was what that is, you can see that it is lighter than value 5. Just squint your eyes as you're looking at it, and you can tell that it is lighter. And so, in actuality, the darkness that I have of my drawing here is actually lighter than my reference photo. Even though, looking at it like that, it looks the other way around. Now, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I happen to learn this from only one artist, whereas many of the things that I have learned in drawing, other than things I've learned on my own, I've learned from several artists. This one thing, though, came from one artist, J.D. Hilberry, and so I'm going to give him credit for that. For he has a video on YouTube that actually shows this phenomenon, and this has been very helpful to me, because as I'm drawing this, I'm going, okay, wait a minute, I'm getting too dark compared to my reference. But if you'll notice, this is next to a white, area right here. I guess I shouldn't have touched it with my finger. Bad boy. Anyway, fortunately it's a dark area. I'll be able to cover up any fingerprints if there are any. Don't touch your drawing paper. Here you can see this area is right next to a very dark area. And so if I was to take this dark area here and move it over to here, then you would see a difference. And that's exactly what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I printed it out again, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this off to the side here for a second. And I'm going to apply this hair right there onto Robert Downey. Get some tape here, hold this on. Okay, now let's bring the other one in here. And now take a look. Now, which one looks darker now? That one looks darker than that. See, now that they're both right next to the old black hair here, things become more in perspective. This was a very fascinating revelation, and I really did appreciate that video that JD put out, because it really highlights how these optical illusions can really throw you off. This is a lot darker. The photograph's a lot darker than my drawing, so I still have some more to go in adding darkness here, but I just stopped for now because I'd rather creep up on it. But I wanted you to see the difference here on just how your eyes could be fooled. See, now it looks so much different, doesn't it? So now that looks lighter than that. And so that's why you can end up with your drawings being a little bit under contrast, a little bit under toned. It's happened to me many times, and I've been called out on it. So I wanted to share that with you. So as I continue to draw this forehead here in this video, I just wanted you to see the difference here, that I have yet to achieve the darkness of this face to match the tone that I need here. And even though even this 2H looks darker than this area here, it certainly is not. And so I'm going to continue to add more layers onto that, and just use your little grayscale here. And if you find it difficult to eyeball this thing, well, then you can of course put a piece of paper in the back or something to blot out everything, and then just squint. But yeah, just interesting how to do that. Okay, well, I'm going to continue on now with the time lapse and start finishing up this side of the forehead. And then when I do the hair and bring that in another video, then I will come and add more layers to the face to bring it out to match that more closely.
Okay, I hope you learned something from that bonus lesson, and now we're going to continue with the forehead. I'm moving off of the 2H now to the next grade that I'm going to use is an HB on the lighter side of the forehead here. And of course, the method's the same. Again, the shading is very simple. That we're just going to simply do the little oval and cover over all the 2H that I've already put down. And then after that, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to blend again. Every time I shade, I come back with a blender and I blend again. That's my MO. That's what I do. I know others do that as well. Some do not, but this is what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and time lapse this and the following blending
as well. On the very right of the forehead there, at least all the way to the right to us, where we see the highlights, it is a slightly darker shade than the middle of the forehead. The middle is actually the lightest part of this forehead, whereas the side with the highlights is just slightly darker. So I'm using this B pencil here to just add a little more tone around the highlights, and then I'll kind of adjust the highlights a little bit and make them look a little more representative of the reference photo. Okay, now I'm not anywhere close to being done with the shading of the face, but this is as far as I'm going to take it now for this video. And in the next video I'm going to continue with the hair, and once the hair is completed, then I will have a better sense as to the final tone for the face. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you felt you've learned something, or if you just enjoyed and found it entertaining. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks and bye.